101 Part-Time Jobs just reached over 400 episodes, and we just won 2 Independent Podcast Awards, one for Best Music Podcast and the other for Best Jingle, which we're very pleased with. We're an independent music podcast, and we've been able to do so by advertising, working with brands and companies who we like and we believe in. We want to keep this show free and accessible to everyone. So for the next few minutes, you're going to be hearing some sponsored messages, and then we'll be on with the episode. Thanks for your support. If you're looking to buy your next instrument, piece of music tech, or accessory, look no further than Dawson's. Now with a brick and mortar store on the iconic Denmark Street here in London and online at dawsons.co.uk, Dawson's carries heritage guitars, Harmony, Mono, and other major music brands like Fender, Martin Guitars, Marshall, Orange Amps, and more. You'll hear on this show how guitars have songs in them, and it's true. I've been playing this Harmony Silhouette with Bigsby that you can hear beneath this, and I've now got to start a new band because the songs are flowing. So if you're looking to pick up something special, head to Dawson's on Denmark Street or online, and with the voucher code 101 Part-Time Jobs, you can claim 5% off the Dawson's online music store when you spend £100 or more. That's voucher code 101 Part-Time Jobs over at dawsons.co.uk. Happy playing! Hey, do you play in bands? I did for the longest time, and I wish that I knew that DistroKid was a thing. I don't even think it existed back then. DistroKid makes music distribution fun and easy with unlimited uploads, and artists keep 100% of your royalties and earnings. 1 million plus artists rely on DistroKid to get their music on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, TikTok, Tidal, Instagram, and all the major streaming services. When you get DistroKid, you can see a DistroKid bank and withdraw your earnings. You get notified when you've earned royalties, and you can withdraw via the app. And you can even check your streaming stats on Spotify and Apple. Get 30% off your first year on DistroKid by going to distrokid.com/VIP/101pod. 30% off for your first year. That's not bad. We know it's a tough world out there. Why don't you make it easier for yourself? And to get 30% off that free year as an artist, where you get 100% of your royalties and earnings, go to distrokid.com/VIP/101pod. All right, stay with me. I'll be right back after this.
This episode is brought to you by National Geographic, presenting its new documentary film, Endurance. Follow the greatest survival story ever told, unpacking the legendary feat of polar explorer Sir Ernest Shackleton, who kept his crew alive for over a year, despite losing their ship in frigid pack ice. Over a century later, a team of modern-day explorers set out to find the sunken ship. Endurance, now streaming on Hulu and Disney+.
This is the sound of your ride home with Dad after he caught you vaping. Awkward, isn't it? Most vapes contain seriously addictive levels of nicotine and disappointment. Know the real cost of vapes. Brought to you by the FDA.
She's got a problem. She's got a real big problem.
Yeah, it's 101 Part-Time Jobs, Stop and Chat. These are these quick blasts of chats where we find out what the band's up to, how they're feeling right now, and more importantly, I'll try and find some good work stories from them. On today's Stop and Chat, we've got HotWax, the great trio from Hastings who have been making waves with their good rock and roll. I think it's hard to be a rock band now. There's so much ways you can produce it, overproduce it, to be honest. But I think HotWax have managed to really toe that line of nice production that sounds good in your fancy modern headphones, as well as keeping that personality and keeping that swagger, to be honest. And HotWax have got it all going on right now. They're about to support Warm Dusha on tour. We got Clams on the podcast next Tuesday. They've just been playing shows with the Libertines, and that's where we caught up with them at the Hawley Arms, the legendary pub in Camden that we know for being the spiritual home of Amy Winehouse, Peter Doherty at times. Wolf Alice all worked behind the bar there. So did Crows. Great band. HotWax's debut record, Hot Shock, is coming out next March. So it's all going on for HotWax. Here they are on 101 Part-Time Jobs. Stop and chat. 101 Part-Time Jobs.
I mean,
Yes.
me and Luda was like kind of in between jobs when like we got signed. So we worked in the cafe, and then it was winter, and I remember working in a pub, I did some work in a care home. I remember applying for jobs and obviously having to write on it about my band and then because it was Hastings, people knew, and they're like, oh, I've seen you being quite busy recently, and I remember just not getting any callbacks from any like the restaurants, and I realised it was because of the band. And then I mean, I'm lucky enough to live at home, and we've all been taught in 2023. We just didn't have even a week off.
Yeah.
So you could do the odd shift, but you really couldn't in a way.
It's funny, it's a small enough town that you fucked it for yourself.
Yeah, no one wants to hire us.
Maybe it's a good thing. Being in a small town, you must see people that you kind of grew up with.
Oh,
people
God.
you went to primary school with.
Leaving the house is horrible.
Yeah.
You just can't leave the house and not.
And also, me and Luda are always still just hanging around together.
Yeah, it's always we're just conjoined.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, God, they really must be bored of each other. We get scared seeing people from school. We're like, oh God, hide behind a
No
bed.
surprise.
Yeah, it's funny.
It's in the lunch hall. I mean, I don't want to bring back traumatic memories.
Oh, it's funny. We used to get bullied by year 7s when we were in year 11. So
Yeah.
I don't know why.
There's a lot of people in Hastings that we know from like growing up playing in venues from the age of 13 as well, and from work, and just loads of people we get on with, but loads of people from school that we'll not talk to.
I mean, that's sick though, starting to play music at 13, because you start realising like there's inevitably going to be that like 50-year-old or 60-year-old who runs the venue, and they take a shine to you because they realise what you're doing is you know what they like doing as well, and you have a connection. Music's got a funny way of doing that. You can be like an 18-year-old having a conversation about music with a 60-year-old.
Yeah, all your friends' age starts to kind of forget about it.
Lots of
really.
old friends.
Yeah, old friends.
Friends who are old.
Yeah.
not old friends.
Obviously, because we have none of them, because no one liked us. It's sad in Hastings though, because a lot of the venues we used to play at when we were 13, 14 have shut down because of the crisis in venues really. So when we do see someone back from we used to play with or something, it's always really nice to be like, oh hey, but obviously sad that those places that we the 14 plus nights or whatever
all gone.
I think with that stuff, and just the budget came out, and that means that independent music venues are going to find it harder, and even harder than they found it the last few years. That you read about the numbers, and I think, it goes so over your head. It's money that you don't really understand. I don't really understand all this government policy. Yeah. But I think, okay, what can we do as like gig goers and people playing bands? I don't know, what can we do? Keep on going to shows?
Just go to loads of shows, that's it.
Yeah.
Support your local venue.
Go to them, I mean, obviously it's them getting funding, which isn't happening. Yeah. But just keep going to gigs.
It's nice in both of our communities, like in Brighton and Hastings, there is communities for music, so like, and the places that have been around for a while generally have stuck around, so we're just like praying that they do stick around over the next while. Looking
back to when you were 13 and playing the band, starting bands, playing in local venues in Hastings, and fast forward to now when you're announcing your debut record, Hot Shock, coming out in March. Their new single sounds killer as well. She's a Problem. What's it like kind of charting that time?
I mean, it's weird because it just kind of, I mean, we've been playing together for so long. We were in a band before, and obviously it was lockdown, and then after lockdown we did more gigs with HotWax, and then it wasn't until 2023, we were working all the time or doing school, and then it was last year. It's all just happened so quickly. It's kind of.
Is that funny because you don't have a time to like have that week where you just think, you get in the bath and you think.
Yeah.
That stuff is vital.
The most time we've had off since the beginning of last year was.
I think it's now.
Was now.
Yeah.
It was the last couple of the
We've
last
had
month.
2 months really at home. And
We haven't had since. Yeah.
It's been weird.
It's a bit up and down.
Really weird.
So you're like, okay, what do I do with myself now?
Yeah.
And I got that track title wrong. It's She's Got a Problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
What's it about? Well, I mean, when you're writing the lyrics to the record, did you find yourself going to a particular time or place or memory?
The song is about she is like a personified version of anxiety, and it's kind of like waking up every day, opening your eyes and seeing that, and then or having something on your mind or anxiety, whatever, and then having people around you that you love and really look up to and wanting to feel the way they feel, and you just desperately just want to see the world like they do, but then you kind of think everyone's got a problem.
Yeah.
You know?
Sometimes think maybe it's just a case of managing it rather than trying to make it disappear.
Yeah. That's kind of
adult shit.
Kind of, and Lola's got a big problem. She's got a problem.
What's that?
Well, her face. She fell off her bicycle.
That's not a Halloween costume.
No. She fell off her bike 3 days ago.
So it started tour after being away for ages. Just managed to face plant and been in hospital the last couple of days. So, but free
back on
Halloween
tour.
makeup tonight. Can't really open my mouth, but don't really need to do that, I guess.
New teeth.
Got some new teeth. You can't.
Not fully.
I got fresh lashes.
Yeah, I got some one now.
People be envious of that.
Yeah, so
you've got a song called "Chip My Teeth for You"
on the new album.
You live in it.
Yeah.
I got it all. So I've got a problem, and I've got chipped teeth, and I had a bit of a hot shock.
That is the HotWax version of Manic Street Preachers. Like carving real into your arm in front of Stephen Mac. That's wild. God. Well, he's starting tour and supporting the Libertines.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like at this point they're like a legendary British rock band.
Yeah.
Whereas they, it started off as like an indie, almost club night. The rioting thing, the Pete Doherty guy.
I mean, they've probably played here loads all the time. Yeah.
I mean, have you met any of them before when you got announced for these?
Yeah, well, the first time we met any of them was actually in Italy, and we met Carl supporting Louis Tomlinson.
Really random.
And we hung out from there.
Yeah, we were. He was DJing and we were playing, and we ended up hanging out in Italy with him like a year before we even knew we'd gone tour with them.
Did you chat?
Yeah, we did. We chatted.
Yeah.
Did you tell him you were in a band?
Night.
What's your attitude on saying, hey, listen to us?
He watched.
He was watching us because we were playing with Louis Tomlinson. But
we all got very drunk. It was fun. I got very drunk, and I fell over again. I fell over again the next day.
It's the Libertines curse.
Yeah, maybe.
Every time, yeah.
But they're all really lovely. We did like 2 gigs with them a few weeks ago, and it was very fun.
And supporting these massive bands, it's a different thing to doing your own headline shows, right? I mean, you were kind of winning over fans.
Yes. Most of our gigs are the last 2 years have been support gigs, so we've really just got used to at first, and then people kind of warming to you as you go on. But I really enjoy it. I like looking at these people intensely, and it's fun. They're not your crowd, and you can just be like, if you like it, great. If you don't,
and we played the Roundhouse twice before with Frank Carter in February.
Yeah.
What was that like? He's
crazy.
A nice dude, isn't he?
So
lovely.
He's really nice.
He's got past his angry stage.
Only on stage.
Yeah, we played with him a few weeks ago in Brighton as well, which was nice for their last tour.
Yeah, it was 3 Sags.
Sad.
They're so good.
Yeah, amazing.
I mean, speaking of like British guitar music, it does feel in a big way that it's back.
For sure, yeah.
Which is exciting.
Yeah, and there's so many good bands like everywhere.
Because the more like big guitar bands there'll be, the more medium and smaller shows there'll be. There'll be people going into high school now, starting bands because they got inspired because they saw HotWax, or they saw Wonder Horse, or they saw Fontaines DC.
No, it's great.
Keep the venues alive.
Yeah, that's it. Maybe that's the idea of it, isn't it? Have an ecosystem where you play in bands, work at the bars, keeps on going around.
Yeah.
What are the worst jobs that you've worked? It talks about working at the fish shack. I call it a shack.
That was good. That was a good
That was
one.
good.
Lola used to
I mean, I briefly
go on.
cleaning up in a care home for a few days. That wasn't the night. I mean,
Used to make the food, the pureed food that looks like
shapes.
insane.
Obviously, they should have nicer food, but you know they do. That's the whole point. You work in the kitchen, try and make it nice. I had to clean some human shit off a plate.
Yeah, I know a few friends who work in hospitals who clean up human poo.
But obviously, people had to do way worse. That was just.
Yeah.
I didn't work there for very long, and then probably just like.
I've just always done the old bar.
I'm quite complainy, so anything.
You're
really.
complaining?
Having to talk to people. Well, yeah, we're working at a bar and having
You
to,
don't like talking to customers.
When the regulars think that you owe them a chat, in which way you do, that's your job.
That's
you
your
do
job,
really
but
owe them a
not
chat,
for
and it's
Lola.
really nice to do that. But
What is the best thing if you're anxious about walking up to the bar to order a drink because you don't want to piss anyone off, and going up to get a drink and someone's got a screw face?
Yes, it's the worst.
What do you do? You just be
As a
polite
customer.
as a customer.
Yeah. Do you want a drink?
I don't know. Just be.
That's good.
Offer to buy them a drink. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I don't work behind a bar.
That's why HotWax is a band.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for the chat.
Thank
We'll do a longer one around the album release.
Yes, for sure.
Exciting.
By then, it'll probably feel like a whirlwind between now and.
Yeah. Oh my god.
So that was HotWax on 101 Part-Time Jobs. Stop and Chat. Their debut album, Hot Shock, is coming out next March. And we did a nice video around all that with some clips of the interview, clips of them playing live, supporting the Libertines that night at the Roundhouse. You can find that on our Instagram. Cheers for listening as always, and see you tomorrow when we've got fantastic Negrito, the 3 times Grammy winner, Tiny Desk winner, really interesting guy who's lived a life. So tune in for that tomorrow. Cheers.
101 Part-Time Jobs is hosted by Giles Bidder and produced by me, Olivia Swash. This has been a Mighty Moon Media production.